So I might need to find a way to do this better because I keep getting, by the way, sound! You removed it, but... So, all I talked about and all I'm going to say is, these are interesting, but besides the editing, which I'm a more person where recreations and where you get stuff and it as added in a specific, like questions are done by, which is a more like, this is, I think, 2009. That this probably came out, sorry, just closed my door. So yeah, still good. If you just want simple panics, these things are really good. I just found them again, they're just fun. I don't need to do this, but I do it anyway. But yeah, this is just something fun to watch if you want to. So yeah. But yeah, this might be the last time we go on these streets. Again, second to last actually, because this is 4 and I have 5. But yeah. Do have same street. It's not actually correct, and this is a joke that probably most people might not even know what I'm doing. Bang! So yeah. If that joke doesn't make sense, it probably doesn't. Because it's probably stupid. So yeah. So I like this. I can't talk too much about it, besides it's cool, it's amazing, and I like it. Riveting coverage. But because a lot of this stuff deals with spoilers, I can't talk about some stuff in this section. Because besides saying the mystery's already good, and the acting is so good in my opinion, there's nothing much I can say. So, okay. So, the two things that are interesting is that, do you see these? These are sort of like the main cast, if I'm correct? Yeah. And in this, in most of the series, this person here is the main person in charge, who is working with this doctor, and there's also a sort of policeman with the crimes, correct? But in season 3, he sort of left, but he then came back, because there was a couple of things that weren't really adding, and that leaves these two, because this person became in charge, in conflict, for logical reasons. You also have this person being dead, or not, which has its own conflict. And I like the whole thing, it's secrets and mysteries and what's really going on. And I have to say this because I think this is the most interesting thing. It does lead season 5 to be a bit shorter, but I'm fine with it. He dies. So, I think I mentioned this, in one of the other seasons, the person who he was actually married to died, which I do think is really interesting. And at that point, I'm like, okay, I didn't thought they were going to get rid of any supporting cast. And why I say supporting is because, like I said, all 3 of these people, sort of like the main cast, like the protagonist. But when they take away him and he dies, it's basically like, well, who's next? And obviously at this point, I have seen season 5. I'm not going to mention anything in season 5 because... yeah, I don't have an actual explanation. I just book it in a weird way, so... But yeah, I have seen it, but what I have seen is interesting, fun, and insane in the best way possible. So yeah, I would recommend, actually, nope. So yeah, I would recommend, I do think this is really good. So yeah. Another Mission Impossible. And also technically it's today, I didn't do any yesterday, so, bonus! Another this. So yeah. Mission Impossible 2, I actually do like. I'm not saying it's bad, well, I have to come back to that. But compared to the other ones, it's not as good. It's not bad, don't drink me. If you put this on and just put it as just a movie, like a movie Mission Impossible, and just say this was just a movie, and I'm like, oh yeah. But Mission Impossible, the first one still had it, and when I see Mission Impossible, I see more like sort of an action spy, while this seems more action. So yeah. The one only thing which I like about this is there's a certain thing about a really deadliness to it. And so many people are like, oh, I know how to store it. Obviously, there's other things to say there. I also like the fake out at the beginning of the movie where it's, oh, thank you, Ethan, for saving me. It was like, oh, wait, is Ethan gonna do? And I was like, wait, you're not here? And it is so cool about being like a fake out, but it's not him. But yeah. I really do enjoy this, I really do like this, and I do think that you should watch it. It isn't the best Mission Impossible, but it is a fun watch, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, from Spy to this madness. Also, sorry it's short, I didn't really have much to say, so yeah. But yeah, madness. So let's start with this madness. Let's go. So yeah, I don't really have anything to open with this besides talking about but I like this, even though it is from a very unusual idea. I like the idea of, I'm the person who I love how Persona does things with it, where they take a feeling or an emotion which doesn't have a physical representation, I'm going to use examples that use another example, not feeling that you are right in your body. Yes, I am using that because that is basic for the times with Donald Trump being about that, and feeling like people have to be a specific way. Trans people have that. Again, sorry if I keep bringing this up, it's always on my mind. Anyway, but it represents in a physical transformation. And I like it. Speaking of, the one thing which I do find interesting is the unique ones. Is because some of them I do think is pretty much what you might get. You have someone who gets injured based on because they got bullied, which I would say is a pretty common trope. People say sometimes if you use words it can actually still physically harm someone, so that thing has been used even by the UK, which we don't usually sometimes go with referential things too much, so that is kind of a thing where it's that is sort of a thing. And I don't need to tell you how body swatching Freaky Friday has 3 remakes of the same movie, plus a sequel, which is not out yet, and I really want to watch it so badly. It looks so cool. It basically does one of the second reboot, and then makes it. I was about to watch it, even my last Freaky Friday was like, oh yeah, there's a sequel, but I then realised it's not out yet, so I can't. So that was backfired. So sorry about that if you were excited, but it's not out yet. But I'm so excited when it does. Anyway, the 2 that I find are most interesting is the first one, which is slowly one person does not are free. One, the idea of someone slowly not existing, that they're in so much spotlight that they want a space, so that they just feel like this is just for me, and that because in this space no one acknowledged, it slowly spreads, and then theoretically, worst case scenario, this person does not exist permanently. And I don't know if that means they'll die. They'll slowly go insane and start hallucinating, because if you've seen things around that, you kind of can have stuff like that. But it's absolutely dark. The other one is the time control one, which is basically one person wants something so perfect that they just loop and loop and loop and loop. Which I know a lot of people say, there was one Tumblr post, I think it was from 2023, the video was from, I don't know how long the actual post was, and someone dubbed it, the person who is the voice in Aphmau of like the Aphmau mum's character, that VA, who's really amazing. But she voiced it and was like, oh, why don't you want shapeshifting? I would like time control. Because if I can turn back time and reset all my mistakes, my problems will be solved. But yeah, that is a thing. Anyway, obviously not, because it's not more complicated than it first seems. The other one, which is a good idea, is having one person split. And yes, I know, that's persona, but I like the idea that, I like how more specifically not what the power is, because what the power is essentially Sona. There's two versions of these people who exist in one body and have two different mindsets, and I love it. But the one thing which I like the most is how we introduced it. Is they called on the phone, and they looked, it was like, I don't know, we're behind you. It's like, no, you're not. And then it's like, there's a version of you here. And it's fun. So yeah, this is fun and cool, and you should watch it. There's nothing more to it, just fun ideas took theoretical concept into a real world. So yeah, this next, and also technically I'm gonna record and upload the ones now, because this was supposed to be yesterday's, so I'm technically recording this. So I might actually record both of these now, quickly. Not upload both, do this, do the things, then go back to here. Which makes it easier, because I don't want to turn my computer on too late, because I need to do a couple of things. Timing! Anyway, this next. Because of certain things, which streaming earlier, and it might make more sense on the stream, or if you see it on YouTube a little bit later when you see it on the YouTube that gets released in next Friday. The one thing which I'm doing this early, and here it is. Genius game. I think this is really fun. The idea of being like this. And I do acknowledge that this is basically the devil's plan of sorts. And I acknowledge that. But because I like both, I want more of this. Because we have a lot of like physical base that are like similar in nature. And why not have like two similar ideas? They're both done. I do prefer Devil's Plan more, but they're both done pretty decently. So yeah, now to Havoc. But this is tomorrow, sadly. But Havoc. 2 reviews, but this is tomorrow. Yeah. And this madness. Let's walk into it. So usually I'll have like, oh, here's really interesting, oh, this is really interesting, but I just watched this. Yeah, there's going to be a couple of reviews where it's like, I watched it because I was like, okay, I need to vary my watch, so I added this. It is fun, it is cool. I like the action, and I like the idea of this being sort of like a cop, sort of like undercover, I think, sort of deal. And I like the sort of like chaotic of it all. But yeah, it is just a fun thing, but I was like, I found this, so yeah. The one thing which I like spoiler-wise, which isn't really a spoiler, it's just a thing I like, and I am going to mention one other thing, is I like at the end, it's sort of like, it's all about this one girl, which would be like, also I like the final fight, the final conflict at the end. Also, the idea of it all being like, around this one person, who wants them dead, who doesn't, it's insane, because imagine that pressure being like, well, these people want you dead and we want you alive. It's like, what? Obviously there's more plot to it, but I kind of just watched this, and then again, that's why this is going to be insanely short, but yeah, it is fun, it is cool, it is insane, but I kind of just watched it because I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't watched stuff like this before. This was stupid. But yeah, if you skip this and you don't want to watch this, it kind of makes sense. And I'm not talking about much. It's, again, I watch stuff and then I review it, and then I realize there's some stuff I shouldn't have watched because I don't have much to say about it. So yeah. And then a book one, which is technically late because that one was technically meant for tomorrow. But yeah, book one. So yeah, a bit of a change of plans, but let's keep an eye on this. Yeah, no. So I can't find the other book, and because I want to, with the book ones, do this, I'm going to hold on that for a bit. So yeah, obviously this is the graphic novel version, and I might actually eventually get the actual book, but there's a couple of other FNAF related stuff I want to get through first. I am really getting into the FNAF books, so yeah. I was like, in the books. Well, if that's the case, I need to buy it. But I do like it. I definitely like the art in this. The art looks really good. I don't mind showing the front because, well, you can see this, but I'm not going to show too much of the inside because I don't know legally if I'm allowed to or not. Well, probably I'm somewhat allowed to because a lot of the insides have been used for like, oh, evidence here, evidence here. And I do love it. I do find it really interesting in this. And the whole thing with the mystery is really fun. So yeah. Obviously, one of the major spoilers in this sort of has been, because this book has been out for a while, but a lot of people are using this to suggest that Charlie, and this is spoilers for a lot more things, but a lot of people are using this and a lot of the other books to say about something with, I'm not going to mention that because that's later on where the evidence comes from, but a lot of people are using this more connected with Secret of the Mimics, if you know, you know. But the one thing which I like is, because to most of the FNAF fandoms, even me, I already knew this, and reading this, knowing that fact is fun, that Dave is William Afton. And knowing this, it's sort of like, I always had my guard up with him, because I knew, obviously beforehand, this is just a night guard. Like, obviously, during the first bit where it's like, oh, we have to sneak around, you guard up, because we need to pretend like we're not meant to, I don't think we're meant to be here, but we are. So yeah, that's sort of like really fun in my opinion, and I like. And it's one of the things I find really fun as like a book. So yeah, again, it's just a fun sort of like book with that sort of stuff. Again, later on, which is going to be in a while, sorry, but this is kind of my famous. So yeah, again, I love this. It's so fun. I definitely recommend. So yeah, I definitely recommend. Now, probably everyone who's going to read this has. I just wanted to say this because, again, I'm starting to read the FNAF books. I'm going to do, like, also a couple of Goosebumps books. But yeah, it's really fun, it's really chaotic, and I definitely recommend for you to watch this. It's really cool. So yeah, Mission Impossible 3. That would be fun to do, and technically that would be today, with all the chaotic happening. I should have done this yesterday. This is still being going in the week. I don't care if it's technically I did this on Monday. Yeah. Also, when I next get the book, I'm going to do what one of these is and just sort of split it in. Again, we've still got a couple of boxes. We're still midway through the move. Sorry about that. But yeah, hopefully I do find it. Again, I wanted to show it off. I didn't mind with the first Minority because I kind of wanted to do something. And most of the books were hidden anyway. So I kind of just moved this one forward, the one I did watch. So yeah, sorry for both accounts. And yeah, is it possible?